Your comfort zone starts where the questions you ask start making the experts uncomfortable. But then you aren't even here for anything comfortable. Not for a cushy job. Your comfort zone starts where the questions you ask start making the experts uncomfortable. But then you aren't even here for any to settle for anything less than what ignites your spirit. You're not here to write code. You are here to rewrite the future. You're not made to design games. You are here to change the game. You're not here to mark your attendance. You're here to leave your mark on the world. You're not here to be created for jobs, but to have jobs be created for you. You're not here for the purpose of making a living. You are here to make living full of purpose. You're not here to upgrade your skills. You are here to upgrade the life of billions. You're not here for the rat race. You are made for the human race. You are not made for anything small. In fact, you are not made for anything less than creating a dent in the universe. HeroVired. Be made for big things.
I hope I'm audible here. Good evening, everyone. Very warm welcome to our alumni, any students who may be attending this webinar, and of course, the HeroVired team. First on the agenda, I'm pleased to formally announce the launch of this partnership between HeroVired and IIT Ma. I've had the privilege of being associated both with IIT Ma as well as HeroVired, where I happen to teach finance. And when I initially proposed the idea of this partnership to President Krishnan and Nishani, they thought it was a valuable idea to go after and implement. We started working on it right away. And here we are this evening, gathered to hear all about what HeroVired has to offer and take any questions about the programs that they offer. I will now invite Deep Sanyal, who heads up learning at HeroVired, to share a few thoughts, after which we'll get to the specific programs on offer.
Thanks, Shiva. It's a pleasure being here today. And I'll just spend a couple of minutes because I know you're waiting to hear from our faculty members about the different programs that we offer. The inception of HeroVired was about bringing industry and academia together and figuring out a way to upskill or enhance the skilling process whereby people can actually learn things that they work on. Right? That's not to say that our universities and colleges do not do that, but it is to say that often we learn certain things in silos and do not figure out that, hey, how it fits into the bigger picture and how it is utilized by the industry. At the same time, the other piece that is of great interest to us are our partnerships with some of the leading universities in the world. We realize that academic rigor and industry applications need to go hand in hand to create something valuable. And that was the reason why we went out and partnered with some of the top universities in the world, including MIT. So I think the individual programs will be talked about by our faculty members. And you would see that Shiva himself, of course, who's an IIT Madras alum, Gaurav is an IIT alum as well. So Shiva, Gaurav, Sanjay will be talking today. They're all folks who have worked in the industry for 12, 15, 17 years. And that's the kind of experience we like to bring to our programs. So over to the team. I'll just drop off at this point. Any questions? I'll be available, of course.
Thanks, Deep. Thank you for that. I will hand the floor to Gaurav Singh, who will start. We'll start getting into the details of what we have to offer.
Right. And Shiva, just to clarify, is there someone from IT MA who is anchoring the program, just to get a sense of whether questions are to be taken towards the end? Do we want to set that expectation now, right? Because people will have questions over time.
Yeah, I think Nishani, is that something that someone from your side will be doing?
Yes, we'll be open to questions after every speaker.
All right, makes sense.
Or would you like it any other way? We could also just open up.
That's okay. I just wanted the audience to be
Yes.
given that message, so that they might have questions on every slide on any new thing that we talk about, right? So they should know when to ask the questions. That's it.
Okay.
So I'll get going, and what I have done is I have a few reference slides that I can probably show to you guys and give more details. So I'm Gaurav, guys, and it's actually a pleasure to be here in this webinar. What I do on a daily basis at HeroVired is, so first of all, I'm working as a senior faculty in data science world, and my day-to-day job is to conduct lectures, do teaching. That is what I love, and to design industry relevant curriculum. When I say a curriculum is industry relevant, what I mean is the kind of concepts that are actually applied on the job in solving different business problems. They should be taught, and they should be a part of the curriculum which is taught to the learners, along with the theoretical and the fundamental concepts. And what also is a part of industry curriculum is the kind of projects which learners should be given to get them hands-on in solving problems, along with data side of things and the domain side of things. And over and above, we can think of case studies and things like that. So my job is to bring all of that perspective, because I have certain years of experience in industry. I would want to bring all of that in the curriculum that we're delivering, and as far as it goes in IDM side of things. So what I want to do now, and for the course of next 15-20 minutes, is, guys, give you some idea of what are the focus areas, right, that we spend time as far as IDMA goes. What are the areas, the core concepts, right, where we invest most of our effort. And these areas, what you look at the screen, are a high-level view of the kind of capability or the skill sets that we develop in learners, right? And why are these areas relevant, by the way? So there are a lot of jobs which are there in the industry, wherein data science skills, decision-making skills, or skills which help you derive insights and make decisions that help the business in a certain way are required. And these skills can have different levels. So people can join a data science job at a very beginning level once they, let's say, complete their graduation, and the kind of role they get is more of an execution. They churn data out, they generate some results, they generate some summaries, and they are more senior people who look at those summaries. So one is that part, wherein learning some of these skills will help you get familiar with those skills, help you land a job in the industry. But depending on the prior experience that you have, depending on the academic background that you have, you will probably get an entry-level job. What is also important is, when it comes to these areas, is the second level of jobs, which is jobs when you land job that you land with on once you've completed a master's degree, right? So after a master's degree, which is, let's say, in data science or in a related field, if you still land a job in data science world, then the role is different, because therein you are less expected to generate the results or generate the outcomes, but you are expected more to do decision making, right? You are supposed to look at the results and give directions. Where should the analysis go next as a next step, right? So I'll try to go to that other side of it, wherein master's side of the skill sets which are required, and how this overall program, probably helps you get to that level as well, right? But all in all, in our IDMA program, these are the focus areas wherein we start things from the very basics. And it does not matter whether you have prior programming experience or not, right? We try to keep a balance of things such that learners with prior programming experience as well as with no prior programming experience are able to take up things from scratch, right? And why Python? Because it gets ultimately applied to the different areas that you see otherwise on the screen, like, for example, data analysis, predictive modeling, deep learning, and AI. Right. So first step is to build a fundamental base of Python programming, and compared to other low-level languages, Python being a high-level language is easy to grasp, right? And it helps you not only churn data but also to look at the data, the summaries in the right way, and then you can take it to the next level where you build in more advanced models, right? Which help you make predictions that are required often as part of business outcomes. Then we slowly move to more advanced things in terms of concepts. We teach learners how to conduct data analysis, right? Once data has been absorbed or uploaded on the system, how to make more meaningful summaries, how to use some of the commonly used quantitative methods which are prevalent across different domains, because different domains have different solutions based on their line of business, based on their method of business. So we try to give learners a sense of what are the prevalent quantitative methods that are used across different domains, and how experts, SMEs come to certain insights using data. Until this point, we are not talking about any methodology as such. We are not talking about any technique as such. And things are kind of to the level of basic and intermediate. And when we move to the next level, which is predictive modeling and machine learning, that is where things start becoming more interesting, because that is the place where you are able to connect the dots from I would say you are able to connect the learnings from different spaces, the mathematical knowledge that you have, the programming knowledge that you have, right? And let's say knowledge of the area of statistics, or let's say visualization or BI comes all together at one place, right? And this is where people start working on the predictive side of things. Given the data, how would the future look like? Whether it is, let's say, a forecasting problem, whether it is a probability or propensity prediction problem, or whether, let's say, it's a linear regression problem, right? And in the next slides, I'll show you wherein HeroVired comes in, and there is an MIT component to it as well, but I'll go into more detail in the next few slides. Now, two key elements which you see on the bottom are applied statistics, the fundamentals of statistics. That is also taught, and you might ask me at some point, why is it needed over and above predictive modeling and machine learning? It is needed because at times you are supposed to make decisions based on statistical significance, which often may be missing in machine learning style of modeling. So one needs to have a knowledge of those essential fundamentals to make any decisions, to be comfortable with their outcomes, with their results. And that is where you need to learn nuances of what populations are, what distributions are, what are things like random variables, what are probability distribution, things like that. And often people with more experience who are supposed to take decisions need to learn all of this so as to be in a better position to make decisions, right? And then there comes the deep learning and AI part, which is, I think, the talk of the town as of today. And a good part of HeroVired's IDMA module, IDMA is integrated program in data science, machine learning, and AI, focuses on developing the basics of deep learning and the AI part of it. So when I say deep learning, it starts from fundamentals neural network, and then it goes to the advanced forms of convolutional as well as recurrent neural networks. And we also teach people how to make use of the deep learning frameworks, like say PyTorch or TensorFlow, how to implement these high-end models, and also work on use cases in the field of NLP and, let's say, computer vision. So these are the focus areas, guys, where and around which our curriculum is designed. And what I want to go to next is what are the key milestones, what are the key modules that we have in the entire program. And that is where I'll spend more time on the masters, the Micromasters program that we have been talking about so far. So here we are providing a quick summary, a quick view of the different milestones. You can call them as modules, and they do not follow a sequence as such. I'm just listing them down here. That's not the exact fashion in which we teach things. The reason being that 5 of these components are MIT courses, right? So what do I mean when I say these are MIT courses? These are pre-prepared MIT courses hosted on EDX, right? And these 5 where you see the MIT label become a part of the Micromasters curriculum, right? And where HeroVired comes in is it helps the learners to get a grasp of the MIT way of teaching, the depth of curriculum there is in all of these areas, other than a reference that the learners can refer to, which is pre-recorded videos of MIT, which is exercises designed by MIT in all of these modules. The HeroVired faculty comes in, it breaks down the topics, the theoretical rigor of it, the mathematical rigor of it, so that it is easily understandable by the learners. And a lot of preparedness is required, which is covering a lot of prerequisites, which MIT kind of assumes that you already have. So that is where a lot of support is needed for the learners to, first get used to the MIT curriculum and also cope up with it over time. And when I say these 5 programs are core components of the Micromasters, they are still MIT owned, but they are delivered in partnership, or they are delivered in support as faculty. HeroVired faculty provides a lot of support in delivering all of these programs. And as you can see, other than these 5 components, there are other components. When you see HV, it is the HeroVired component. And before MIT starts, we try to give them some foundation on programming, Python programming. We try to also give them some foundation of what predictive modeling is, what ML modeling is, what are the core concepts, and things like that. Because when day 1 of MIT course starts, they are not stuck. They are not struggling real time. And often we have batches wherein there are senior people with multi years of experience who probably have lost touch with mathematical concepts they learned in their graduation or post graduation. And there are often folks who have done programming, some bit of it, but maybe they have lost touch there too. And at the same time, we have learners who have no programming experience. So that is where the foundational components come before when the MIT courses start. Towards the last, you can see there is a HeroVired deep learning component, the HeroVired AI component, which I mentioned more of in the previous slide. So the MIT courses, one of them, which is machine learning with Python, does cover the deep learning part of it, the AI part of it, where reinforcement learning comes in. But it is the HeroVired deep learning module which takes it to the next level, because we bring in more industry projects on both computer vision as well as NLP. Now, I believe this gives you some view of the HeroVired IDMA program, and within that program, what is the Micromasters component, right? The one that I've highlighted, the 5 modules. And any learner who completes these 5 programs, there's a capstone exam as well included in it, would get a Micromasters degree, would get a Micromasters course certification, right? And I believe some of you are interested in knowing more details about it, as in the benefits that one can get after they get certification of this program. So that is where I'll move next to. So there are various benefits, and the Micromasters program is actually open for any learner. It is kind of hosted. All the modules, all the courses are hosted on EDX platform, and any learner can enroll, go to the website and enroll, right? And a lot of support, as I mentioned earlier, is required, and that is where the HeroVired faculty comes in. That is where the HeroVired staff comes in. But all in all, it gives you an opportunity to do master's program. It gives you an opportunity to also apply for a PhD program in MIT itself. That's the first line item that you see. So there is a doctoral program that MIT offers in social and engineering systems. And once you complete the Micromasters program, you can apply for that doctoral program as well. So that's one of the benefits. Then you also get eligible for applying to master's degree. These are given by universities in different parts of the world. And what helps is you become eligible to receive certain number of credits in these universities. And how many credits, what's the quantification of that? It differs from college to college, from universities to universities. But a lot of these universities who are offering master's degree in these different fields that they are listed do offer you some discount in terms of credits. So you are not supposed to complete all the credits which are normally required, but they rather put you on a fast track where, because of the Micromasters certificate, you need to complete less number of credits as such, right? And there are universities, there are programs, master's programs, where instead of cutting down on credits, they ask you to complete less number of courses. And for example, there is one there is a master's program in Northwestern University, USA, wherein instead of doing 12 courses to get the master's degree, you are only supposed to complete 9 of them. So 3 is what you get a relaxation on. So over and above, getting to the master's degree, because the Micromasters program and the certification puts you on a faster track, you also get more benefits, right? You also become eligible to become an affiliate of the MIT Alumni Association, which has its own benefits, right? And some of these benefits could be access to the digital library that MIT has, access to the other MIT courses, other MIT online courses that are hosted on ADX and things like that. So I believe this gives you some idea about the Micromasters program, which is supported by and is supported under the IDMA program. If there are any questions, I can probably take. If there are not, I think we can move to the finance side of things. Just let me know. Yeah, I believe you can put your questions in the chat panel. That should do. There is a raise of hand, but I'm not sure whether you will be put on unmute.
Have given access for them to unmute themselves, actually.
Okay. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hi Gaurav. So my question is there any price for this IDMA program? What is the price?
Okay. So I'm not sure, Shiva and other folks, how do you feel discussing the logistics and the other details at this point? Or are we the best people to talk about the price?
No, if it's covered later, that's also fine.
Let me just step in here. So what I mean, clearly it depends from program to program, and there is a team that looks after the admissions and fee and etc.
Yes.
What we can formally announce in this webinar is the discount that the partnership offers you. So the discount is 25% off for any IITM alumni or student that wants to do the program, and that discount goes up to 50% if it's that is applicable for women applicants.
Okay, got it. If somebody wants to pursue masters at MIT, does this program help in any way?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So one of the programs that you can see is the PhD program, wherein and post completing Micromasters, you become eligible to apply. There's an opportunity that gets created where you can apply, right? And obviously they will have their own rounds of assessment and things like that. But while a certain committee or team is assessing you for that master's program, they will see that there are certain credentials, there are certain scores that you achieved in the Micromasters program, and that will carry their own weight in helping you probably clear those assessments as well.
Okay, so you are saying for this PhD program, it would be beneficial.
Yes, yes. It creates an opportunity. It's not a certificate to just go enroll there, but it creates an opportunity for you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the other courses also have the courses which talk about these areas, like for example, machine learning, like for example, fundamentals of statistics and mathematical foundations. So those courses, you will not be required to go to that depth once you enroll in a master's degree, or maybe they will not be required at all. Like this example of Northwestern University below, you will not be required to go through and take the 3 fundamental course. One is on probability, one is on statistics, one is on programming in Python.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions any of the attendees have, participants have?
I think we can move on. Yeah, there's another question. What is the extent of IIT Mars involvement? Abhishek, I think I'll take this question.
Okay.
IIT Mars is merely a facilitator in this thing to help the alumni, the students, and alumni families to avail discounts with HeroVired. It can be for either pursuing your master's in MIT, or it can be for yourself to become a lifelong learner and to help you in your professional life, or it can be for any alumni and their families who just want to update themselves with the latest course. So I think IIT Mars being a facilitator as offering a service with a superior learning, e-learning development, e-learning platform like HeroVired. I hope that covers your answer, Abhishek, your question.
Yeah. So yeah. So I have a question.
Sure.
So what are the prerequisites to enroll for this course? Are there any?
From HeroVired, and no, there are no prerequisites for you to get started with us. Although when you get enrolled, you will be given a pre-assessment for us to get a sense of where you are in terms of all the skill sets, and you will also be given a post-assessment so that we know what ground we have covered. And as and when any of these MIT courses come, they will have their own set of prerequisites. For example, machine learning Python course is starting in, let's say, mid of May, almost 2 months from now. We will help you prepare, brush up some of the concepts in case you already have covered it earlier. If not, we will help you develop that ground from scratch. Let's say it is programming, whether it is advanced mathematical concepts like multivariable calculus, things like that. But there is no prerequisite for you to enroll with us with HeroVired.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. So in the interest of time, I just want to reach out. Is there anything which is not clear? Because we have some time, so probably I can address some of the points if they were not clear earlier. If there's a confusion.
I have one small doubt.
Yeah, please go.
So, like how this program, like if you consider BSc, IIT BSc program, so all these subjects are already being covered through that program. So how that program like beneficial in terms of getting admission, while IIT BSc also like promising these aspects regarding admission into computer stream through data science. So how it is different?
Okay, I'll try to provide some perspective probably. So I'm not sure the course that you're referring to, but if it covers some of the elements which you see on the screen, let's say programming or machine learning, or let's say some of the statistical concepts, the way it is going to be different in this HeroVired program is that because of the depth of MIT curriculum, things are going to be more comprehensive. Things are more thought through end to end, and it does not require you to further study once you have done the course. That goes for machine learning, that goes for probability, statistics, and things like that. That is one aspect. The other is the faculty who is going to teach this is not coming from academia. They don't have multi years of teaching experience in colleges or universities, right? They are people mostly who have worked on projects which involve application of these concepts, and I being one of them. So if sorry, you have a question?
Yeah, so just one last confusion I have. So just take some scenario like every year MIT just takes around maximum 2 to 2.5% students outside outside their country. So how this program will benefit to fulfill in that 2.5% domain? Like 2.5% seats are available to maximum 3% seats are available for foreigner students, including Indian also.
Okay. So see, all in all, I can say that getting an experience of all these courses, these MIT courses, right? It kind of helps you acclimatize, right? The MIT way of studying, right? You get an experience of the depth of the curriculum, the vastness, the application side of it, without getting into MIT.
Yeah, right? It is quite vast course, no
Correct,
doubt.
right? And it ultimately depends on, once you complete, what are the scores that you have, and then you still have to go through an application procedure once you apply for master's or let's say PhD. And this program, this certificate will definitely give you an edge compared to someone without it, because there are areas where they are going to teach in masters, and you have already covered some of it earlier with their course only. I would say world standard, industry standard course you would have already completed. So that gives you certain edge compared to somebody who has not. Does that make sense? Or
yeah, thank you.
Okay. Shiva, it doesn't look like we have more questions.
Right. Maybe we roll over to finance then.
Okay. I'll just.
Right. All right. Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks for that. I'll spend the next 10 minutes or so talking about the finance offering, and perhaps take questions if you have any. I'll start with the upshot. There are 3 upshots to. I think this applies to pretty much all the programs we're talking about here. The first thing is that earning a Micromasters, it significantly strengthens your application for any master's program that you apply to any university in the US. And this is in response. This is covering not just finance but also computer science as well as data science. It significantly strengthens your application to any master's or PhD program in the US, because the Micromasters comes from MIT, and along with it comes a certain number of credits which can be transferred to other universities, or if you're applying to MIT, there is a certain number of credits that you carry from your Micromasters. So just to illustrate that, if you do complete a Micromasters in finance, which you can do sitting here in India whilst you're still doing a BTech, or while you're still working here, takes about 12 months. What you earn is up to 42 credits, which you can carry into your carry with yourself if you apply for a master's in finance program in MIT. And in terms of the just to put a dollar number to what that means, and this number comes from MIT itself. The estimated cost saving is a net saving of about $20,000, and that comes from the fact that you don't spend as much time on campus doing the program. The master's program itself gets shorter because you have fewer credits that you need to earn. That's the first thing. The second thing, the second benefit, so to speak, that one needs to highlight is the fact that in terms of bridging that gap that is there between a program that's offered in an academic institution versus the expectations from the industry. We try to do our bit as industry practitioners to try to bridge that gap. I think Gaurav mentioned this too. The faculty team is entirely drawn from the industry. So to that extent, we believe we can add some value in bridging that gap between what academia teaches versus what industry expectations are. So those are a couple of general points which I wanted to lay out there before diving into the some details of the finance program. Much like IDMA, IPFT, which stands for Integrated Program in Finance and Finance Technologies, it is an 11-month program. It's offered currently in a part-time format. It demands about 6 hours of instruction time during weekends, and in total it demands about 15 hours per week, including all the assignments that you have to do and so on and so forth. So what do we teach at IPFT? We cover unifying principles of finance, equities, fixed income, risk management, fintech. And as I said, it creates a pathway to the Micromasters certificate from MIT. Why do I say it creates a pathway? That's because in the partnership with HeroVired, what we actively go through is 3 of the 5 modules you require to earn the Micromasters. There are 2 additional modules that need to be completed to earn the Micromasters, which currently we do not actively go through as part of the structured IPFT program. But clearly it's something that we can support students to as they aspire to earn their Micromasters certificate from MIT. Financial valuation and risk management, which is the second program. It's a 6-month program. It has some MIT content to it. It's geared more for those that would like to go after a career in finance in India. So that's specifically what it does. So it's less. The gearing is more towards career building rather than earning a master's. Whereas IPFT, the first program, does both. It goes after trying to build a career for you as well as try to make your applications for master's programs stronger. In terms of the careers that our students go on to find for themselves, the most sought after careers, the most aspirational ones are equities research, which is a huge market in India. It's probably the biggest financial market. Trading roles across equities, commodities, fixed income, so on and so forth. Sales, and by sales I specifically mean fixed financial markets sales, financial sales roles in banks and investment banks, and risk management. The last bit I wanted to briefly touch upon is the faculty team. As I said, we are completely drawn from the industry. We are a team of 4 faculty members at the moment. 2 of us have trading backgrounds, myself included. One of us has about 10+ years of professional equities research experience, and one of us has an experience comes from a corporate finance background. So that is a summary of the faculty team that delivers the finance program at MIT. That's basically what I wanted to cover, and I'm happy to take any specific questions you might have about the finance offering from HeroVired.
I would like to know actually what way actually your program is different from EDX.
Sorry, we cannot hear you clearly. Can you speak a little louder?
In what way your programs are different from EDX.org?
In what way are our programs different from?
EDX.org.
No, the programs are the MIT component of our programs is exactly what you see in edx.org. They form about approximately 50% of the overall offering from HeroVired. So if I take Ipft, for example, I would say about 50% of it is drawn from exactly what you see on edx.org, including the assessments and including the proctored exam. The remaining 50% is from our faculty team, where what does our faculty team do then? We do two things. One is we help support the learning on what you see on edx.org, which comes from MIT. That's one thing that we do. The second thing that we do is, and this is the bigger component that we do is that we actually help you, we help contextualize some of this content on edx.org, which a lot of it, which I have to say is fairly theoretical. We help contextualize it for the Indian job market. We draw upon our industry experiences to help understand the theory that is that MIT, the MIT content tries to teach you.
Any specific project will be there?
Yeah. I mean the
short project, 2 months or 3 months actually, which is focused on some one area and specialize the opportunity to do a small project.
So the three bits that I would like to address, to talk to you about. We have numerous classroom projects. The classroom projects are not actually structured in that. We usually, the classroom projects, because of the industry, because of the industry tilt to the program, we do not have, they're not usually pre-planned. What we do is we respond to current events, and our classroom projects are based on current events. I'll give you one example. Late last year, there was a real estate company in China called Evergrande, which you might have heard about, which was in distress and eventually defaulted. So a classroom project from last year in the Ipft, for the Ipft cohort, was about analyzing Evergrande as the story was evolving. So those are the sort of classroom projects that we go after. With the other bit, with the second bit, which is projects themselves, not classroom projects, but group projects. Those tend to be a bit more structured. There, for example, two projects that we are currently working on with the Ipft program. One is market risk, understanding market risk and market risk reports from point of view of a bank, a bond portfolio that a bank runs. So putting together, measuring and reporting the risks for a bond portfolio run by a bank is a project that we are currently running for our students. The second project that we are running for our students is from the private equity industry, where the students are analyzing, we are working in partnership with a private equity firm, and the students are basically analyzing pitch decks as they come. So that's the second kind of project that we do. The third is an internship or a capstone project. That whether it's an internship or a capstone project really depends on what the students' aspirations are. So to that extent, there is flexibility, but we have students who want to do internships or do capstone projects, which are usually with an industry partner.
I think the internship, how long it will be there, right? How much time the internship will be there?
I would say the typical length is 2 to 3 months, and I say typical because we even have the capstone project, for example, the private equity capstone project that I mentioned, that runs for 5 months, because it does take a bit of time to build up that understanding. But I would say typical, if I had to give you a typical answer, it would be 2 to 3 months.
Reality is no shortcut, please. There is no shortcut. Another important thing is actually the origin of the programming language. Actually, what is that you are going to use it? I see actually Python you are using. See, Julia is the product of MIT.
I'm losing the audio here. Sorry.
And actually, see, programming language actually, right? Whatever the curriculum we use, it actually for implementation of the projects. let's say Python you are using actually the last program I see Python, right? Now Julia is a product of MIT, right? Julia programming language. Are you going to use that also in your curriculum, right? Implementation of the projects and other things? No? Some programming language we have to use it, no? MATLAB or otherwise, something like that. I'm telling you, right? Python is the one actually people are using. Actually,
Right.
Product of that one is Julia is the product of MIT, right? Are you going to use that? I'm asking you for curriculum.
So as far as I know, Shiva, I'll probably address that. As a programming language, it depends which vertical you're talking about. Let's say IDMA data science, Python is the preferred language that we use end to end. But when it comes to FSD side of things, there are multiple. There is actually a basket of different programming languages and platforms that are used. But Julia, as you're mentioning, is probably not used across any of these programs that HeroVired is offering.
Actually, Julia that is developed to such an extent that I think anything actually problem can be solved actually in scientific language or any domain for that matter. I don't know why it is coming so late actually to industry. I don't know. Sorry, just my idea is putting forward. You know, after MATLAB is going to be Python. Maybe after Python is going to be Julia. Julia is the future of the technology, right?
Agree. So I totally understand that as the landscape is evolving, different programming languages will find their own edge. But at the current, what is viewable, right? What our current view is, I think Python is pretty much going to be there. There is a certain ground, there is a certain market that our programming language has occupied, but it is mostly towards the statistical analysis part of it, the research part of it. But as far as I see, Python has been there for some time, and it is going to be there because of the large contributor forum there is, and because of its widespread use in different applications, whether it is data science, machine learning, AI, and things like that.
But that is actually you cannot do with Julia. Everything can be done with Julia, and that's awareness of the language itself is wrong. Actually, people are not getting into that. And at the same time, Julia has advanced the scientific programming. It is alternative with MATLAB, substitute to MATLAB. More scientific way actually, but fastest language. I think education institution encourage that one to industry also spread that, right?
Yes, so there are different benefits in terms of what a programming language is bringing to the table, right? And one core advantage that Python has is scalability part of it. Anyone can scale in Python faster compared to any other language because of its high level.
I don't think
because of it being a high level language.
Actually, right? Julia has the same capabilities that Python has, and chip level also can go. Actually, there is absolutely no problem at all. You can check yourself.
Okay. I would probably, but since I'm not an expert, so I can't really make a comment on Julia. But since I've been closer to Python, I can probably say that for Python, there is a larger user base, and there is a lot of contribution being made every day in that library in all these areas that I spoke of, which is why it is the preferred language that most of the courses are using, other than our programming language.
I do agree. Same thing. Julia also capable of. The only thing is, any innovation is possible in Julia. Python, I don't have, right?
Okay, but I'll refrain making any comment because I'm not an expert in Julia. So.
Do we have any other questions in regards to finance? Okay, can we proceed, Shiva?
Yeah, can I invite Sanjoy now for the final part of this webinar to take us through?
Hey, hi guys. Good evening, everyone. This is Sanjoy. So I have around like 12 plus years of industry experience, worked in various MNCs, and had my own startup, and then kind of looking at the whole engineering domain in Wired. So we have different kind of products that we kind of teach and offer to different learners. That includes FSD, that includes DevOps and all of this, a lot of Python that Gaurav was talking about. So before getting into a little bit of meat into this whole thing, I just want to say just one thing that if you look at all across the world, we look at IITs, IITians kind of dominating the tech world, right? If you look at Microsoft, you look at Google. So wherever you see the topmost person is most probably an IITian from India. So creating that particular context, that's where most of our programs are, and that's where the IIT is such an important as an IITian is such an important thing to learn and understand about computer science. So what we provide, so as we talk about in finance as well as in the domain for IDMA, we talked about MIT. So in the FSD or the computer science domain, we have partnered with Harvard. So Harvard, we have the CS50 course and CS50X course. Probably you've heard about the CS50 course, which is the most popular course in Harvard, which would give you around 5 to 15 credits. Which will not going to give you any financial benefit right at this moment, but it will do a couple of things for you. One, if you kind of fill up your MS form for computer science, right? If you have this particular course, get the certification, then it's going to have a lot of weightage into your the resume that you're going to send. Number two is if you're coming out of kind of a non-computer science background, coming out of like mechanical or electrical, this particular course is going to help you really well to shore up your fundamentals, get an understanding of all the computer language that you probably would require once you get into get into a computer science or get into doing MS in computer science. So that's a very clear benefit that you get from higher studies and MS perspective if you do this course that HeroVired is doing. Now looking at the career perspective, we that's going to build a profile in you for you. Like if you want to get into an MNC, if you get into these bigger companies like Facebooks and Microsoft, where you'd need programming language understanding, data structural understanding. This whole course that HeroVired offered is going to build you that profile, give you that understanding in detail. And obviously we have faculties who are coming from industry, have been there, done that, would give you a better perspective of the things that you're going to learn, and probably would make you a better programmer, better fit for the industry that you're getting into if you're looking to get a job in software. Not only as a fresher, probably like 5 years down the line, you decide and you're working in some mechanical company, and that company is making that digital shift, and you want to understand the programming part of it. So this particular course would help you there as well, because the technologies that we are working on today, like Python or a Java or a database or kind of front-end technologies that we're offering like React and Angular is going to stay in next 5 years or on a 10-year space. Probably the variation would change, but the understanding and the basics would remain. In that way, that would help you to make that jump from a kind of a core perspective to a digital transformation, be part of the digital transformation of the company probably you're working at. So that's the benefit, and that's the courses we kind of offer. I won't call it a course, I call it kind of the project-based training that we offer. And these are like, I listed down certain technologies that we kind of train on, certain front-end technologies like React, Angular, the databases like Mongo, SQL, NoSQL, Python, then worked with Flask, Django, all the platforms, frameworks of Python. We talk about Node and Express. Because in today's world, DevOps is a very, very important thing. So DevOps and cloud computing is also being part of this whole curriculum that we offered, in integration with Harvard. So I kind of stop there. So if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Do you have any, suppose any education institutions wants to have your courses as a curriculum, you can have actually allow that one actually education institution in India can participate in your curriculum, actually in essence adopt your curriculum into their courses.
If I kind of lost your audio bit, but what I understood that if the education institute kind of approach us to do a customized curriculum, are we open to it? Is that a question?
Yes, exactly.
Yes, we are, but that again, the customization would depend. So again, there is a Harvard curriculum, right? The one that we are talking here is kind of integrated with Harvard. So Harvard is a specific type of topics that we had to cover, and we add our own. So like faculties have that understanding that these are the hands-on thing that needs to be done. So I just giving an example of CS50. CS50 really do not have a DevOps component, or the CS50X do not have a DevOps component. But we are adding a DevOps component to it because we feel that is important for the industry, or going forward for even a learner to kind of aspire to do MS in any of the US universities. So first question, yes, we can customize it. We are customizing it for different institutions. Second question, like getting into this Harvard thing, that I am not sure whether we can provide you that Harvard certificate or not, if that kind of answers your question.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there any other question?
Any other questions from the audience? Sanjoy and Shiva, could we elaborate a little bit on the internships that were mentioned in the internships with HeroVired?
Yes, Shiva, you want to take that?
Yeah, I can add a couple of I can maybe say a couple of sentences before handing it over to you, Sanjoy.
Yeah, sure.
So on the finance side, as I said, the internship itself is with industry partners. So for example, as I said, currently we are working with what we are very at the moment working on with some of our learners is an internship project with a family office that invests in that basically invests in ventures. It's a private equity slash venture capital sort of family office. It's a large family office. So I think it's best the answer to the question is best illustrated with an example. So we have a handful of learners who have qualified to do the project with the family office over the course of the next 5 months. What they'll be doing is they'll be evaluating private equity deals that come through the family office. This is done. This is all done remotely at the moment. The course itself is fully online and fully remotely run. So most of the internships and most of the projects are also remotely run. We have so far not had a situation where there's been an internship where the learner actually goes to the offices of the industry partner. Some of this can be attributed to the pandemic. Some of this is also because the model that we run is mostly online based. Typical, as I said, typical duration of industry projects slash internships slash capstone projects, they are usually 2 to 5 months, depending on the nature of the project. And as a general rule, within the finance domain, those who are after a career in venture capital, private equity, those projects tend to be longer. At the other end of the spectrum, those that are looking at market risk, for example, those projects tend to be shorter in duration. Sanjoy?
Sure. So kind of similar lines to Shiva, right? So we have, I can talk about again an example in the batch. So we have quite a few students from there got internship into HeroVired, where they have been part of our tech and product team. They're doing work there, like proper live work. So that's been there from one of the batches. And also there is a team, what we call a career services team. So they take care of the placements of all the students that kind of been part of the HeroVired journey. So they identify different companies and they make sure that they can be placed. So I believe there are certain programs that HeroVired runs right now, which are kind of placement guarantee programs. And also the internship with HeroVired, I can tell you like last batch, I think 50% of them has got certain internship from HeroVired, which are working in the production floor with the tech and product team.
Wow.
Did that answer your question?
Yes, yes, it does. I mean, placement and internships, I think, are key for any educational
Sure.
course. I think everyone learn on the field more than, sitting in a classroom and especially with online classes. I just want to also ask you a few questions about how challenging the courses are with HeroVired is compared to other online courses, as well as do you support peer learning and inside the classroom and within the learners?
Shiva, you want to take that, or I can kind of give an FSD perspective to it?
Yeah, I'll again, from finance point of
Yeah, go
view,
ahead.
we're probably looking at for the part-time program, we're probably looking at 15 hours of commitment per week. That is where a student really begins to draw value out of the program. The instruction hours are limited to 6 hours. There are some students that only do 6 hours, and the usual outcome is not satisfactory. They end up feeling that they haven't drawn enough value out of the program. So yes, it is a demanding program. It's a demanding program also because the MIT proctored exams, they demand that you do acquire a certain level of proficiency in what you're learning. Sanjoy?
Yeah, so from again come from the engineering FSD perspective. So we want to make sure that all the students becomes, so right now our goal is to make them kind of industry ready. And in that way, what we do is we have a lot of projects that they have to do. So depending on their skill sets, depending on their learning capabilities, they kind of completing those. But for us, is like the projects are kind of the key. So all the projects that they need to do, and what you're looking at is around same thing, 15 hours per week, something they're putting in. Most of the students are doing it. There are some students who are coming out of a non-IT background. So for them, it's kind of a little bit of an uphill task, around 20, 22 hours. That's the conversation that we're having.
Yeah, on the lines of IDMA, also something similar is what we also have. The MIT modules, all of them are pretty rigorous in terms of content, theory, everything, right? And we also bring in a lot of projects which the learners can also showcase on their GitHub, Kaggle, things like that. And it also helps them, get jobs, or at least makes their CV stronger when it comes to showing it to, let's say, an industry, a job, or some career opportunity. And the course, all the courses are quite demanding. Like Shiva said, over and above the 6 hours of lectures, let's say Saturday, Sunday, we expect the learners to spend 12 to 15 hours of self-paced as well, which could be going through the pre-read material, which could be going through the MIT lectures, attempting the exercises, which could be projects the MIT has in their courses, or which could be the assignments or assessments that we as HeroVired give to them. So pretty demanding on IDMA side of things as well.
We have one question on chat from Abhishek. There seems to be a pretty significant difference with respect to the pricing offered for the MIT Micromasters on edX versus the HeroVired program. Could you let us know what is the additional value add that HeroVired brings to the table?
I think if we had to, I think I'll go first, and then Gaurav, and request Sanjoy and Gaurav also to go, add to anything that I say here. I think if we had to take a sledgehammer approach and just quantify the value that HeroVired brings, I would say that it just comes down to 6 hours of classroom instruction that comes from industry practitioners with significant experience. I think that in itself brings a fair bit of value. And then there are other components that add value to it. Career services, for example, arranging an internship, for example. These are all tangible benefits. This is all in addition to the fact that we, in a lot of cases, with a lot of our learners, may not be the case with every learner, but in with a lot of learners, there is significant support that one has to provide for the MIT program as well. The program itself is demanding, and for example, with finance, on a weekly basis, in addition to the 6 hours of instruction, we run 2 hours of support for those that are going through the MIT learning. So on Tuesdays and Thursday evenings, we run sessions with students. Gaurav?
Right. So a big component, a big support that HeroVired faculty provides is over and above the lectures that you will anyways watch as a learner, whether you are with HeroVired or not. Right. We try to teach all those concepts in a different way. It's not just a theoretical. It's not just a theoretical concept which is there just for me to complete the curriculum, but also the application part of it. Like Shiva said earlier, we try to contextualize the concept being taught so that you can take it and probably apply it in the industry as well, which MIT does not do that well. MIT does not do that well in most of the topics that they're teaching. Although they have projects towards the end of every certain milestone, let's say unit 1, unit 2, but often it's not easy to understand why are we doing it, where am I going to apply this when I, let's say, join a job, join a company in projects. That is if faculty provide their experience, their perspective. This is one core part. The other part is the prerequisite thing. So all the MIT courses have certain level of ground to be covered as a part of prerequisite. Otherwise, the lectures will not make sense. And as an individual, you will end up spending a lot of time just to brush up the concepts, just to know how should I get hold of all these prerequisites before the MIT course starts. That's another area of support where faculty comes in. And over and above, there is a lot of doubt clearing. There's additional support being provided by the program managers, right? Just they just keep on poking you so that you are on track. So you are also self-motivated. That's the value that we are bringing over and above what is there just with MIT programs.
Thank you. Thanks for that. Sanjay, you have anything to add?
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to add similar lines on Harvard. So the My program is a kind of a integration with Harvard. So we do a lot of other things what Harvard does. In the program that HeroVired offers has 4 or 5 completely different components right now, and even the industry experiences that we are bringing in with the Harvard self-study space is not going to be enough, because our goal is to make you industry employable, and so that actually learn something. And without making projects or hands-on work in this experience, you're not going to get a lot of benefit out of a single Harvard course, I believe.
Right. We have some participants who have recently joined. I think Padmavati and Aryan. Would you like to have any questions before we just close this session?
No, actually, no. It's clear.
Okay, great. Thanks, Abhishek. Shiva, if our questions are, if anyone has no more questions, we can come to a close for this session.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Shiva. Thank you. Thank you, Sanjoy, for a lot of insights about the courses with HeroVired. I'm sure there are a lot of benefits to it, and I think a lot of our alumni and students might get back to you with a lot of questions. And we hope to keep this collaboration on, and do let us know when, if any of the new courses are launched or anything like that. We'll be happy to bring it out to our students and alumni. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Grateful for that.
Point, Nishani, before we disconnect, often it happens that learners, before making a final decision, they often like to talk to a faculty one-on-one. That is something that we do encourage. So it happens that in a wider group, people are hesitant asking questions, right? So if some of the learners are curious to know more about before they make a decision on it, they can do so while talking to the faculty.
Right. Abhishek, unfortunately, we won't be able to take that question right now, but I will be able to give you an email address or a phone number of HeroVired where they can walk you through the admission procedure. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, HeroVired. Thanks to all participants. Thank you. Have a good evening.